Hey Gears, it sounds like you guys have decided to work on modeling a bee box this year using additive manufacturing. So one of the steps you guys are going to need to be able to do is to make a CAD drawing of your bee box and then to transfer it to a file that can be read by a 3D printer. It's not that bad. We're going to break this down into a couple of sections, try to make it pretty straightforward for you. So this is what a bee box might look like when you were done. This is in PTC Creo. You'll notice here that I can drag the front of my box open and closed, and I can raise the partition up and down. In fact, let me rotate that so you can see how when that goes up and down, it could block the bees from getting into the back of the box. This is very similar to the box that was in Tom Seeley's book. It's similar on purpose because that's where we got the idea from. So, in order to make this drawing in this model, we're going to start with our first step, which is going to be to make a part. And that part is going to be basically the frame of the bee box. So there's a bunch of different ways we could do it. We'll start with a simple way. So I'm going to go ahead and go to Sketch, and I'm going to go to the front, and I'm going to click Sketch. So inside here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the general front of the prism that I'm going to extrude to make it larger. So I'm going to start with a center rectangle, no problem. I'm going to drag it out, I'm going to left click it, then I'm going to center click it, and then I'm going to go ahead and adjust the sizes. So for this example, we'll just make it 4 inches by 4 inches. Don't freak out if that happens all the time. Don't freak out if that happens. Just click on the rezoom and everything will come back to roughly how you expect it to be. So here I've got a 4 inch by 4 inch square. And so far that seems pretty good. I'm now going to bring out there's a bunch of different ways to do this, but I'm going to bring out another square. And I'm going to make that one center click, 3.75 by, see here, double click on that, 3.75. And you'll see here now that on my box, just click OK. And if I click inside there, you can see that this is not the whole shape isn't shaded in, rather. It's just this section. So if I go to extrude, I'll make this 8 inches. Let's see here. Oh, it wants to know what plane. By the front. Okay, whoops. So let's go back to sketch 1. That's what we want to extrude, 8 inches. That's roughly what we want. That looks pretty good. So this is about a 1/4 inch thick, and that's based on our drawing. We'll just click OK. And if we wanted to make it thicker, so what I'm doing right now is I'm zooming in and out using my center scroll on my mouse. If I wanted to make it thicker, I could just go back into my sketch, edit the definitions of the sketch, and if I wanted that to be a 1/2 inch thick, I could just make this 3.5, click OK, and everything would update. In fact, it'll do that at any point in the process. So I know that I'm going to want to put a partition in this at some point, so I'm going to want to put a hole up here. And again, that's not hard to do. I'm going to click on the top, just like that. Click on extrude, and that'll bring me the shape here. So I'm going to put a hole kind of across it, right in the middle. I might not know exactly where the middle is, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and put that line in, and I'm going to measure it. And what I do is left click both and then center click in the middle. And I know the box is 8 inches long, so I want that to be 4 to put it in the center. So that works. That's pretty good. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a rectangle in there, just like that. It's centered. Whoops, lost it. Just do it again. Left click and then double center click in the middle. And maybe I want, not enough room for the bee to get by on either side. So we'll make this 3.75 inches, and we'll make it a 1/2 inch wide. And I'll click OK. And this is going to be an extrusion. And you'll notice that that's just pointing up, and what I really want to do is put a hole on the top of this box. So I'm just going to remove material, just like that. And you can see that it's gone off onto the side of this box, which is not what I had intended. And that's okay too. So we can make some adjustments over here if we need to. Let's just take a look on the other side. Yep, they're both just a little bit wide. So let's go back into our definition for this extrusion. And go into section 1, edit our definitions. And it turns out that the sides of our walls, this is just a little bit too large. Let's make it 3.5. And now check it out. And it works just fine. And you'll get used to this idea of making adjustments as you go and letting the image update itself. And we might find that in practice this isn't quite big enough, but I think that'll do the trick. I think that'll be just fine. So we have the partition on the top to allow the piece of wood to slide in to block the front and back. We have a basic box shape. So the only thing we have left to do really is to add some places for some screws to go in order to mount the hinges. So in order to do that, I'm going to click on extrude. Well, we don't need extrude 2. Extrude 1 will do the trick. Click on extrude, click that face. And now we want to do, so I'm going to zoom in. I want to put some holes for screws up here so that the hinges can go into that as well. So I might not know exactly where I want to put those yet. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to start off by just putting a circle on the screen. And I'm going to move that circle just a little bit. And I'm going to define the size. I'm going to say it's 1/10 of an inch. And I'm going to put it 1 inch off center. That's fine. And I'm just going to zoom in a little bit. That looks pretty good. I like that. So now what I'm going to do, in order to make a second, you know what, I'm going to make that 3/4 of an inch. We just have to remember that. That looks good. And I'm going to do another one on the other side. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. And I'm going to select mirror. So it doesn't see the center line there, so I'll put in one. Put in another one so it can pick it up. I'll select my circle, select mirror, select my center line. And now I've got holes right where I want them, and I want to remove material. Let's just take a look, see if we like that. That looks great. It's just fine. I'm going to click OK, and I'm going to accept it. So now I've got my B-box with 2 holes in the front. You'll see later those holes become important because when I want to put the hinge on the box, something's got to hold the hinge down. So if you look over on this side, we can see that we've got 3 extrusions. I made an extrusion to make the box itself, I made an extrusion to put in the partition, and I made an extrusion using the mirror function to put in some holes. This doesn't take too long. You can change it as you go. This is a basic design. You can probably guess we could have done this with virtually any shape, but this is a pretty good start for us. So I'd like you to go ahead and make your own version of this so that you can get more familiar with PTC Creo. Thanks, guys.